Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Big Talk on Global Television. I remain your host, Edikan Michael. Today, we'll be taking a look at the very scenario at the National Assembly yesterday over the suspension of Senator Abdul Ningi over 2024 budget padding allegation. Recall that the senator, when speaking with BBC, alleged that some padding was of course, alleging the fact that the National Assembly passed budget has some issues regarding padding of some 3 trillion naira to what the National Assembly had passed, and it sparked controversy. And yesterday at the plenary, the Senate President and all the senators, in handling the situation, suspended the senator for 3 months. And of course, we'll be taking a look at what happened at the National Assembly and other matters within that area. I'm being joined today by a legal practitioner, Barrister Kanemo Basi, who joins us for the conversations today on Big Talk. Good to have you, Barrister.
Thank you.
Yes, you followed the events at the National Assembly, and as a Nigerian, it's a concern to you. So what has been your thought regarding the issues of padding coming in for the budget of 2024?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. First and foremost, we have to put the issues in clear perspective. A distinguished senator of the Federal Republic alleged that there were 2 budgets being bandied, one passed by the National Assembly and one operated by the President. That was the first allegation.
Yeah.
And he subsequently went further to state very clearly that there was a missing 3.7 billion and alleged that it could have been padded. Now, let's get back to what is padding. We have come to understand that padding in a budget simply means where a person adds a figure to what is originally understood or known, maybe for purposes of self-aggrandizement or for corruption. So Senator Abdul Ningi had alleged in his BBC interview, among other issues, that the budget as passed by the National Assembly was not consistent. Arising from those allegations, I believe the Senate must have waded into it and addressed the issue as an institution. But let's look at the legal perspectives of this whole scenario. Beyond the allegations, number one, it is within the powers of the National Assembly to legislate or look at the budgets as presented by the executive arm of government and pass it after it has been deliberated. Now, that's a process derived from its powers. The question we should be asking is, or was, did the National Assembly follow that process? If it had followed that process, what it finally passed, was it consistent with Senator Abdul Ningi's claims, or are there variations? Thirdly, if there has been any infractions in the budget passed by the National Assembly, to what extent are these inconsistencies? Has there been any inconsistencies at all? There were mentions of constituency projects, which are usually projects earmarked by legislators or senators, as it were, for their senatorial district, taking projects there. While some people say this may be a duplication of functions, but these are also areas through which legislatures take good governance back to their people. So the issues are, which has actually come out in the public forum. There wasn't, the allegations of Senator Abdul Ningi was found to be unfounded. Unfounded because even on the floor of the National Assembly, many Nigerians watched and heard him say, he didn't say there was padding.
There was a sort of intimidation in the process, or is he trying to manage a crisis because he understands what he has thrown the Senate to?
No, I don't see any intimidation. Maybe Senator Abdul Ningi had good intentions, but the way he went about it was wrong. Wrong because he attempted to impugn the integrity of the National Assembly. Now, don't forget, this is an arm of government that is independent or ought to be independent on its own. Now, I don't have a problem with Senator Abdul Ningi's claims. These things may have happened in the past, though without proof, but there are channels. I'm even aware that he had gone to see the Senate's president and laid out these complaints, and not independence of other senators. So what was the rush to the BBC for? That's why I'm saying, when you look at it in clear perspective, he may have had good intentions, but his actions may have actually betrayed those intentions. Rushing to the BBC without confirming from the Senate Committee on Appropriation if what was passed. Because as a member of the National Assembly, you should the privilege to have a copy of the budget as was passed. What you paid auditors to look at must have been the final copy. So if you had come down to the Senate Committee on Appropriation to demand for answers to certain questions, probably what played out at the National Assembly would not have played out. So I don't see him being intimidated. I only saw the National Assembly trying to redeem itself. And before I end, let me draw a line in the actions of Senator Abdul Ningi, which has been festering in this country over time. Nigerians are very well used to media trial. A person is accused, once there's an accusation, it flies fast. Nobody investigates. People don't take time.
Like the issue of 500 million that one of the senators, in the bid to try to defend Ningi, made mention of the fact that 500 million was allocated to high-ranking senators, and some Nigerians are taking it to be a cash transfer of 500 million to the senators, whereas we've also understood the fact that it's about a zonal and constituency project, and this fund is not being allocated to senators.
Like I said earlier, Nigerians are used to media trial. Mentioning large sums of money at a time when many Nigerians are hungry was very insensitive of Senator Abdul Ningi in the first place. You are calling 500 million, calling hundreds of millions of naira as if these monies are being kept on one table. The budget itself is in trillions. But like I said, the problem is, or the issues we should be looking at is, above all of this, if such monies are being appropriated for senatorial districts across the country, why are Nigerians still not feeling the impact of government? Because this is what has been going on over the years. Hundreds of millions of naira have been allocated to senatorial districts and constituency projects. Why are the people in these constituencies and senatorial districts still complaining? Why are Nigerians still grumbling?
We'll be coming to issues of constituency project, because we're trying to unravel the allegations by the senator, and then some Nigerians are forced to maybe conclude that he has been, intimidated, to tell the but what inspired the senator to come out of this? The Senate leader alleged while speaking that is a move to impeach the Senate president. That for him to be the chairman of the Northern Forum, that is the first senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria before the caucus of Northern senators. And for whatever reasons he may have, that it's a move to impeach, or kind of a coup planned in the National Assembly to remove Senator Pabio. Do you perceive it in that direction? There's a motivation to a particular...
Yes, let's be objective. First and foremost, one reason is politics. Why do I say politics? If you listen to Senator Abdungi, he said some senators got, not senatorial districts, some senators. And that is what I have problems with. Some senators got 100 billion, some got 50 billion. Why the use of the word senators and not senatorial districts?
Yes.
Are these monies going to the senators? That's one. That's why I said the problems may be political, because he alleged that his own Bauchi South senatorial district got a paltry 50 billion as total sum of the projects coming to his senatorial district. So it's born out of politics, and it is not unfounded, nor is it wrong. As a senator of the Federal Republic, apart from his primary duty of legislating, he's also there representing his senatorial district. So he must represent, he must bring good dividends back to his people. One of the things he must do is to see how he can attract or drag federal government interventions, projects, and goods back to his constituency. So politics was the first driving force. However, the way we play politics in our country appears to be very selfish, because you only think about yourself and what you stand to gain. Now, if what you were trying to do was to ensure transparency and accountability, then the issues of mentioning senators, this senator got this, did not arise. I listened to the presentation of Senator Abdul Ningi, with due respect to him. I was very disappointed when he digressed a bit from the real issues he had actually made, which are very valid. To say, Mr. Senate President, I don't know how many aides you have. You know mine. I don't know how many aides the Deputy Senate President has. You know mine. That was dancing to the gallery. And like I said, that still corroborates my claim of politics, and that was being taken too far. The second reason may have actually been his desire for transparency. Of course, there are senators within the Senate chambers who are actually transparent and mean well for their constituencies and probably for the country. So there was nothing wrong in him actually coming out to say, I have been told there are so allegations. But why not subject it through that process? Why beat up the drums as if you have another option? And finally, the allegations by Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, the Senate leader, may not be entirely wrong, considering the fact that in this country, Nigerian ex-politicians use very little things to upset the political system. But I don't want to comment on that because I don't have proof. Even the man who alleged only speculates, belongs to the realm of speculation.
Okay, because he said he's not speaking as a leader, but it's first speaking as a
he's entitled to say that.
Yeah, as a senator. Now, Serap has vowed to take legal action against the Nigerian Senate over the suspension of the senator. Is it in the right direction?
Well, Serap has been used to always coming out when there is, I don't want to speak ill against that body because I know that Serap has been behind a lot of initiatives for good governance and accountability, but taking the National Assembly to court is on account of suspending Senator Abdul Ningi is a mere academic exercise. So I'm tempted to ask whether Serap is actually chasing clouds, because it is within the purview of the powers of National Assembly to exercise disciplinary actions over its members. They have powers, they have rules.
They have rules.
So what are you saying? Are you saying the National Assembly do not have powers to
even when the senator has
discipline? Even if the senator has not accepted, he is bound by the rules of the National Assembly. Yes, they derive their powers from the Constitution of the Federal Republic, but they are guided by their rules, and no one is above the laws.
Right. So the issues of caucus, most of the times when senators are elected into, the National Assembly, they start having different factions and different groups, and this has inspired, some of these regional interests, as you may say. We have Southeast senator, South senators and the Northern senators. Is this for a common good of Nigeria? Because as legislators are an arm of the government for the country, they are meant to protect first the interests of Nigerians.
Yeah, even in civilized climes, I like to note that even in the Western world, caucuses are very common. Now, I like Nigerians don't give it the true color it should be. Even in a family unit, you cannot have all the family members operating on the same level. There will always be some people who will come together and take decisions before coming out in the open. So it's normal. Now, in legislatures around the world, there are lobby groups, there are caucuses. This is how these people work on their bills and get them passed. It is not, they are not clandestine.
But a situation where some of these groups are going far as what you may actually see from the Northern senators, isn't it detrimental?
No, I believe that the Northern Senators Forum on its own is a body, it's a hegemony or a group of an umbrella body of Northern senators, probably to galvanize their interests for the common good of the North. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is everything wrong with the fact that the Northern Senators Forum can be dragged into petty politics. I listened to the senator from Niger State, the Senate chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriation, who mentioned that he was not even aware of all the things that Senator Abdul Ningi had mentioned using the name of the Northern Senators.
That himself from him.
So that was using that body to play politics taken too far. Now the questions are, was it the common decision of the Northern Senators Forum to raise these allegations? Were they properly briefed? Did they do proper investigation? Are there truths in this investigation? Or was it being carried above political lines? It could be that Senator Abdul Ningi had good intentions. And maybe there are even issues to be addressed. But the way and manner he went about it, he got himself in that mess.
All right. Now, let's get to the fact that there are allegations of some senators getting, Abaribe said Senator Adesu is getting over 200 million and all of that. So some of these sharing formula in the budget is the fact that senators are not being given the funds. Funds are passed through agencies, parastatals, and different ministries. And as we highlighted, we've not seen development at this area for the past years of doing the same thing over and over again. What is the issue within the corridors of the National Assembly? Because it's not just the Senate. We also have about 360 House of Reps members who are still having their constituency captured in the budget.
Well, what I'd like to see the National Assembly do, apart from the suspension of distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi, is looking at how it can publicize what it does with this funding for constituency projects. Well, it is debatable Some say the monies don't go to senators, but every senator will decide what project he takes home. He will also determine which ward, clan, local government area, or particular zone in his senatorial district will get what, and even determine the type of project that it gets. So what I want to see the National Assembly do is let Nigerians know in the year 2024, this was what this particular senatorial district got. This was what it was able to achieve, documented, so that Nigerians see and know. So it will be that maybe some of these projects are phony projects that appear cosmetic on the outside, but they don't go down to the needs of the ordinary people. So I think that is one area that, away from the noise and the drama around Senator Abdul Ningi's, maybe one of the good things that will come out of Senator Abdul Ningi's claims or allegations is what I just said. Now, the need for transparency and accountability, documenting, because I know many senators take constituency projects back home. I know what many senators do that go down to the people, like the senatorial district of the Senate president. Even before he became Senate president, while even as a senator, as a minority leader at the the Senate, I am aware of the humongous support he gave his constituents publicly. So these are the kind of things we want to see. So if somebody wakes up to say, okay, I have not seen what my senator or my senatorial district has brought back, then those are genuine issues. And not somebody coming to say, oh, this one has 500 million, this 100 million. Are these monies to be embezzled? Are these monies for personal aggrandizement? So that's not the issues I expected. I expected Senator Ningi to say, what I will do for my constituency, this is what has been captured for me. Why not even start from what has been allocated to you? Was it not part of the process when these budgets were being debated?
Which was 1 month, it might not be enough.
And of course, that is a problem we have in Nigeria. If you are a senator of the Federal Republic and when something goes on in the Senate, you cannot play feign ignorance. You were there when this whole process was, even when it was passed.
Was 1 month enough for the budget?
Well, that is a question for the legislators to answer, because even if you give lazy legislators 1 year, they will still not pass the budget. So it's not an issue of time. The issue is, did it go through the process it ought to have gone through? Did they call for public, was there any public display? Were there public memoranda? Did they receive memoranda? Did they receive arguments? Did the MDAs, did the agencies who are supposed to spend these monies, did they come and defend it? And I think that happened. So if that process had gone, if that process had been adhered with, the other issue would be, are these things, are they addressing the needs of Nigerians? What is the economic impact of this budget? To what need? What needs will it meet? What needs is it addressing? These are the issues. I'm not just waking up to say, make phantom allegations of allocation of sums. So beyond the noise about the sums, we should be looking at the impact of the budget on the ordinary Nigerian.
What is your fear that Nigerian State is facing some critical challenge of credibility? Because as an institution of government, Nigerians meant to have confidence on them. But we've had where senators have been, given SUVs, even in the dwelling economy like ours, and all of this. So some of these things are not in any way boosting the confidence of Nigerians on the Senate. What do you feel that the Senate must do better?
The confidence of Nigerians is not only with the loss of confidence, so to speak, of Nigerians is not necessarily with the institutions of government. It's just there is a general apathy of Nigerians with the institutions of government, not just the Senate.
Isn't that
not just the National Assembly? Yes, that has been a result of, I wouldn't say failed leadership, but the frustration and disappointment of Nigerians with where we are. Presently, there is an economic crisis, not just in Nigeria, the world over. But in Nigeria particularly, people are hungry. People are not able to get necessities of life. The removal of the fuel subsidy has made transportation difficult. Fuel is 600 plus, and many people are finding it increasingly difficult to survive because this has played into all other sectors of the economy. Now, for Nigerians to regain back their confidence, it's not even about these persons or institutions. It is about Nigerians feeling the impact of what government is doing. So, from even when former Senate presidents or former in the 9th, 8th, and 7th Senate, Nigerians were still complaining of credibility. Nigerians have general apathy with institutions of government. most especially when they are not feeling the impact of government. So I would say that it doesn't have to do with the individuals who make up these institutions. It has to do with the general party of Nigerians with the institutions of government, because they believe that these institutions have failed them.
All right. Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi reacted that a Senate suspension of the senator involved has not addressed that the suspension of the senator has not addressed the issue. They still hold the Nigerian public a clear clarification over the various claims and counterclaims, including that of the executive arm, to be able to know exactly what is happening, because we are throughout the executive, reacting to that, and also disclose to the public to the exact amount allocated for constituency project and all of these issues. So it means that the senator was trying to unravel some issues and all of that, and for the fact that he has, come out to tell us another story away from, what he told BBC is contradicting. And these are the claims that Nigerians are saying that these are the issues that must be dealt with.
Well, I don't believe that Senator Abdul Ningi had any serious claims to make, because if you remember when I started, I said his approach was political and dangerously political. You want to address a specific issue, why not beat that issue and stop whipping other sentiments? Nigeria has gone past primordial sentiments, We have, many Nigerians are beginning to become more and more enlightened about how governance is being done. People are getting more interested. They're asking questions. They want to know. Now, I don't have issues with distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi raising concerns in the budget. But I have issues with him mentioning making political statements on those issues. For instance, my constituency got 150 billion. Why not start with telling us what 50 billion will even do it for your constituency? And in regards to what His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi said, he's entitled to his own opinion. I agree with him to the extent that the suspension of the distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi has not actually addressed the issues he raised. But I disagree with him to the extent that we should not go cloud chasing. The Senate asked Senator Abdul Ningi to state clearly his claims, and he faltered before the National Assembly. So what are we still saying? What are those claims? The budget as passed by the National Assembly is a public document that is accessible to all Nigerians. So why are we still talking about unraveling what? That's why I say we should leave sensationalism and look at the issues as they affect people. Nigerians play politics with everything. Let's leave sensationalism. The budget as passed is a public document. Any Nigerian can get into the National Assembly and have access to the budget as passed. In the civil service, they are a public document. It's accessible. So what are we talking about unraveling?
All right. Let's take a look at the fact that never has it been in the country where things have been so difficult for Nigerians as it is right now. And priorities of the Senate and even the government hasn't reflected the way forward, for Nigeria to be out of the situation we are for over 8-9 months of the Tinubu-led administration, and Nigerians are complaining and yearning. So what are those things that the Senate or even the National Assembly must begin to do to adjust? We are still finding it very difficult for probing of some of the allegations, faced by the former administrations and currency, Naira, and all of that, CBN-led CBN and all of these. They have not been doing a great job on that aspect. Don't you think that issue of concern too?
Yes, I want to state very clearly too that it appears that the National Assembly needs to tighten its nose on oversight functions. Why do I say this? Today we are hearing of allegations against the central bank, the last leadership of the central bank. I believe there was a Senate committee overseeing the central bank. Did they carry out their oversight functions properly? If they did they notice any infractions? Why do Nigerians just wake up and hear accusations and infractions? So I want to see, that's why I said that is an independent arm of government that carries out its functions within the purviews of the powers given to it. Nigerians want to see a more robust National Assembly, which is, I want to believe the 10th National Assembly is actually going in that direction. Because it's very easy to criticize anyone and say whatever you like, but are these people doing what they ought to do? Yes. Every day Nigerians see the National Assembly walk, talk, and this is what they are expected to do. The executive have their own functions. They are the ones actually implementing the budget as passed. But the National Assembly has a duty to perform oversight on the functions of the executive arm of government. And the oversight functions are being exercised by its supervisory or role on ministers, as it were at the federal level, at the state level, on commissioners, on MDAs, on agencies. So the question we should be asking is the National Assembly carrying out its oversight functions effectively as it should be? That settles that question. Now, for the hardship facing lots of Nigerians, it's unfortunate that this present government came in at a time that the ripple effect of the Russian-Ukrainian war and other conflicts around the globe have actually worsened the global economic crisis. Why are we suffering? It is not like other countries are not facing the same issue. We are suffering because we didn't put our house in order.
Well, this government,
in the last 10 years, how far has Nigeria gone in agriculture? The last government voted and spent so much money to encourage agriculture. The CBN were busy giving out money on the Anchor borrowers loan. Where is the impact? Why are we complaining of food scarcity if the Anchor borrowers were actually borrowing to invest in agriculture? Where is the food? Where are the food crops they were planting? How can we be talking of food shortage when trillions of naira had gone into the Anchor borrowers program? When trillions of naira had gone into commercial farming? So there's a disconnect with what government plans to do and what eventually takes place at the end. So this, like I said, it is very easy to point fingers at anyone you want to point fingers, but let us see government begin to tighten its noose on its implementation strategies and exercise oversight functions on persons and bodies that are charged with the responsibility of implementing government policies. Because corruption, once you leave the loopholes for corruption, this is where we continue to find ourselves. We shouldn't be talking of food scarcity or food insecurity or food shortages if the loans that the central bank had disbursed to farmers had been put into agriculture. So that raises questions.
Are you of the opinion that reversal of subsidy removal will turn the situation that we are having? Because some Nigerians are saying, oh, if government were not prepared for the subsidy removal, then I feel that it should be reversed back.
It is easy to criticize government from outside, and but when you are on the saddle, it's very difficult.
But do you think they were prepared when they removed the subsidy?
Well, I don't know what to call preparation. The subsidy had to go. Even the former administration of President Muhammadu Buhari had started talking about removal of the fuel subsidy.
Well, it's not as if
and like I said, it goes down to politics. Some allege that the president did not do well in making just a proclamation in his inaugural speech that subsidy is removed. I disagree with them. Why do I say that? The president announcing that subsidy is gone is just a confirmation of what was to happen, because there was no provision for subsidy in that budget from the 1st of June 2023. So pronouncing that wasn't the issue. The issue, I still say, and I continue to maintain in different fora, is how did government address the effects of that removal? The palliatives that we heard government say, they went through state governors, allocated billions, and can Nigerians be asked questions? How were these palliatives distributed? Can Nigerians know where these palliatives went in figures? Government had good intentions, but how do you cushion these effects? Today, the Labour NLC wakes up, say they want to go and strike. They also got a fair share of these palliatives. So the people that should actually grumble are the ordinary Nigerians who have never seen or felt the impact of these palliatives that were meant to cushion the effect. So I continue to say there appears to be a disconnect between the good intentions of government and what finally boils down to the ordinary people.
All right. I think in the bid for the Senate to strengthen the Constitution, they have set up a committee to review the Constitution, and there's some concern of Nigerians with the current Constitution that we have, give us the Nigeria that we really want.
I think Nigerians need to tell themselves the truth. We need to tell ourselves the truth. There has been several attempts at amending the Constitution. That is not our problem.
That's not a problem.
It cannot be our problem. The Constitution, okay, the Constitution former President Olusegun Obasanjo implemented. Was Nigeria not better off at that time? Goodluck Jonathan came in, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua came in. It's not the Constitution. I continue to say it is the implementation of the ideas that the people have that is the issue. What am I saying? True federalism. Are we practicing true federalism? If we are practicing true federalism, to what extent is the center holding powers? To what extent can we hold the regional bodies accountable. We have issues of accountability, not issues of constitutionalism. Our problem is not with the Constitution. Our problem is the individuals who are implementing and carrying out the words and letters of the Constitution. There was a constitutional conference in this country at a time. People went there and said all manner of things. Even if all of those things are implemented, Nigeria will still face what we face here because we're having issues of leadership.
What are those are recruiting leadership?
Nigerians! We vote for these people. During electioneering campaigns, you see so many people carry banners and placards of politicians. It is the same people. So we should leave, we should stop dancing to the gallery.
And Nigerians will come out and say that.
No, we should stop dancing to the gallery. Let us look at the real problems of the Nigerian state. And what are these problems? I've already highlighted some. Nigerians like media trial. Bad fake news and bad news fly very fast. Nigerians most times are not objective. Yes, valid questions need to be raised. Questions need to be asked. Things need to be looked at clearly. There need to be greater transparency and accountability by public officers. And that is where we've been tilting to. We need to hold public officers more and more accountable for their actions, for policies of government, and for implementation. It's not amending the Constitution because it still goes on. Are you aware that even monies are spent in the process of even amending the Constitution? Why are we whipping ourselves from the back and then standing up from the left? Let us look at the real issues. Are we practicing true federalism? The Constitution we are operating is a prototype of the American democracy. Even the Americans did not evolve as a civilized democracy in 1 year, in 10 years. Went through hundreds of years. The problem I continue to maintain, which we have, is the sincerity of our leadership, the purposefulness, the transparency and accountability. The more government becomes accountable, the lesser we have issues of confidence.
It has been perceived to look as if every government comes in and go, and then probably pushes blame to the next government, and even the next government recruits leaders by appointment of ministerial appointment, MDs of agencies and all of that. And these people come from the levels of party, political party or compensation, a political compensation. How do we get it right when it has to do with this challenge? These are not Nigerians.
I will continue to say what I have been saying in several fora. Prior to the 2023 general elections, I had expected, as a fallout of the NSAS, I had expected the youths, when I say the youths, between the age brackets of 18 to 40, to have been able to organize themselves into a formidable front, float a party of national spread, and produce younger candidates for elective office.
They did that in Labour Party.
Well, I'm not sure Nigerians, they had the national spread that we got. Those things are mere, yes, I will not want to go speculating, but what I had expected to see was even younger leaders, younger youths coming out, and people supporting and backing them. But that's not what we saw. Today, we will continue to complain that the present age bracket of our leaders are not performing. Now, let us look at even the scorecard of our youths in the small positions they hold. Are they accountable? No. But that's what I had expected to see, because this is my personal opinion. So we need to get back to the basics. What are our public officers doing that they ought not to do? What are they not doing that they ought to do? Let us hold them accountable. And they are meaning, one way of holding them accountable is the drama you are seeing even on the floor of the National Assembly. It is within distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi's right to raise issues. But how do you raise those issues? How do you go about it? Why mix it with politics? Why bring in sentiments? Why not address the issues as it were? This budget, as you see, I don't understand it. It seems the spread of projects is skewed in favor of a certain part. And you see, I always have a problem with we playing politics with development. It's high time Nigerians leave playing politics with development and address issues of development once and for all. When you say the projects are skewed in favor of the South against the North, you are still dancing to primordial sentiments. And primordial sentiments will help Nigerians. Whether it is in favor of the South or the North, where are the projects? Are we seeing the impact? Taking for granted that those claims are even true. If it is in favor of the North, let us see the projects in the North. Let us see the North done well. Let us see people complaining less in the North than in the South. Then the problems of Nigeria will have been addressed by bit. But not that politicians will just wake up and whip up sentiments just to paint a particular administration bad and then try to pave way for the next elections. It's unacceptable. The youth need to wake up and tell themselves the truth. We are tired of all these shenanigans. We need to see results. We need to see action. We need to see positive development impact on the citizenry and not politics. Nigerians are tired.
Do you feel the system is easier for the...
Let me draw your attention to something. Sometime, some years back in the National Assembly, there was a committee of the House of, I think it was the House of Reps, I don't want to call his name, where a ranking member of the National Assembly was chairman of a committee investigating an agency. We were shocked, Nigerians were shocked when the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission took that same senator, the chairman of that committee, to court over collecting a bribe of $500,000. So where are we headed? So it's not just the noise, it's not just the talk. Nigerians want to see results. And like I've always said, I am watching to see what this present government is doing. There are a lot of good policies coming out, but let's see the implementation. Then we can then score them. But let's leave the talk, let's leave accusations, let's leave political sentiments and address issues as they are. Was the budget indeed padded? When you say something is padded, that means that it has been inflated. As we can see, there was no inflation, no budget was padded. Probably there were concerns by that senator on the spread of projects. So why politicize it? Why not address it as it is? Probably you could have it can be addressed to the benefit of your constituency or the constituency of your state. Why politicize it? That is the problems we have. So I want to maintain that the Senate was right in suspending distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi for flouting its rules and going about it in that manner. That was totally uncalled for and unnecessary. And don't forget, if you taint the integrity of the Senate, you are also a member of the Senate. You are among them. So why not shut it in any public? If there are issues to be addressed, address it within the confines of the Senate to the benefit of Nigerians. Nigerians are not interested in that drama. Nigerians want to feel the impact. Even if it is Senator Abdul Ningi's constituency was allocated 1 trillion, the people in his constituency, are they feeling the impact? These are the questions Nigerians are asking, and not all this banding. To me, they are all merely gymnastics. Nigerians want to see what this budget is doing, the impact of this budget. We've been having budgets yearly, and the same stories, the same scenario. Government must not be bastardized before we see results. Let us also help government. Let the citizens also help government to actualize its own programs. Demand for accountability. Now that these issues have been thrown open, let Nigerians ask their senators, yes, what is coming to my senatorial district? What is coming to our state? When these questions are asked, you will see that there will be greater transparency and full disclosure.
As we begin to wrap up, don't you feel that it's as a result of this engagement between the government officials, with the senators, and even the ESCOs, the ministers, with Nigerians? Because most of the times, it's about misinformation or misinterpretation of informations. They are not doing properly engagement with their constituents.
And that's what I'm saying. And like I said, when you call proper engagements, don't forget what level of engagements. The senators go back to their constituents only to reassure them and compensate those who voted for them. And let me be very honest with you. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Members of the National Assembly, I will not be fair because I don't have evidence, but we can speculate safely that many of them work hard for the good of their constituents. But the issue is, what do you call engagement? A senator goes back to his senatorial district, maybe attends a marriage ceremony and dashes somebody money. The people don't want money being dashed to them. They want to feel government presence. Is there water in that community? Is there light? How have they addressed the issues of light? How have they addressed the issue of infrastructure? What is the state putting on ground? What are they able to assess? Education, their rights, infrastructure. Is there good health care? Are the hospitals working? Are the hospitals that dilapidated? These are the things Nigerians want to see. So it's not about how much is being allocated to a senatorial district for constituency projects. The issue is, what are the projects? Is it addressing the needs of your constituents? Because the needs of constituency A may be different from the needs of constituency B. Politics is local. What works for A may not work for B. Nigerians want to see results. Nigerians are tired of all these shenanigans that members of the National Assembly keep doing. Every year people wake up cast aspersions, want to attack this one. It may not be, I heard him on the floor alleging that it was a coup. He may not be wrong. But the Nigerians are not interested whether it is a coup or not. Nigerians are interested in the fact that is the budget has passed, the issues has raised. Is it addressing the needs of Nigerians?
All right, as we begin to wrap up, the mood of the nation is quite very, very hot. Yesterday at Worcester Market, we had where the police and the security men mounting the market were trying to, get some taxation from the traders, and this resulted in a clash between, both the task force and the men of the security, and this escalated to the point that over $1 billion shops was got to be fired, and this is the fact that the mood of the nation is high. Warehouses are being invaded by community people, and even truck, moving from one area to the other. So the mood of the nation is quite very sad. What are your messages to Nigerians at a time like this, even as we begin to, build hope, that things will get better?
Yeah, I will agree with you that it's quite hot in the country right now. Nigerians are not smiling and they are not happy. There is a very large disconnect. The middle class has actually disappeared. People are groaning and grumbling. But then, this is not the first time that Nigerians have faced this kind of dilemma. Now, what I expect to see government do is to create an enabling structure that will ensure that the pain and suffering of Nigerians are eased. For instance, this is a matter for the FCT. You say tax force go around the market. Are those people, are they able to sell? Can there be no more, can there be convenient ways of taking taxes and levies or rates than this gangster syndrome, the way tax force operates in our country? You know the idea of tax force, even from local terrain where people just hire able-bodied men or touts to go around harassing people. Nigerians are angry. And no matter how powerful you appear, once you harass a hungry man, he will rise up and resist you. So for me, that is not even the issue. The issue is government needs to also discipline its organs of enforcement. Who are the members of the tax force that did they go beyond their boundaries? They should be brought to book. The people in the market, are they going above the law? They should be brought to book. But I want to tell you the truth. Before you see a situation degenerate to that level, certain persons have not managed themselves properly. And these are a fallout of the way the country is. So I want to see things get better and these issues being addressed so that people can come back to normal. No Nigerian has an excuse to break the law simply because he's hungry. The law will catch up with you.
So an hungry man, they say, is an angry man, but I understand, I agree with you, that the law will definitely catch up with you when you don't begin to take laws into your hands. I think that's the very good words from Barrister Kanema Basi, is the legal practitioner. Of course, we'll be having you more to give us more robust engagement.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
To the engagement today. And that is where we wrap it up on Big Talk tonight on Global Television. I remain your host, Edikan Michael. See you again tomorrow.